Tim Ross, aka Mr. Bread in My Pocket, back at it again.
And so this life update made people cancel their subscription, right? Like, I don't like this new update of you. Great, cool. I had called Jesus a stripper by that time.
That was hot.
I had cussed on my podcast by that time. He was all over
the net.
And then I get an invitation to preach at your conference.
But let's talk about it here at All Things Theology. Cue my theme music.
All things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly without an apology. Gotta get that theology to God, hallowed be, cause this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace. Welcome back to another episode of All Things Theology, where this is your host, K-Dub. Today, we got a jam-packed podcast we got to talk about, where it's two of our favorite people on this channel. I can say that tongue in cheek, and that is Tim Ross and John Hannah. Yes, Tim Ross recently had John Hannah come on his podcast, and they talk about some stuff. And boy, was it an interesting one. Look, I don't want to take too much time out of your day. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about this clip first.
I didn't start pastoring until I was 40.
Yeah. I started pastoring when I was 40.
This is crazy.
Yeah. I was 45 when I took my life back.
Yeah.
And took my voice back. And basically took everything back.
Yeah.
And so I'll be 50 this year. In the last 5 years, I've been the me that I'm the most integral part of myself that I've ever been.
And you'll catch more fish doing you.
Correct.
Now, this was the biggest love bombing on each other therapy session interview I've ever seen in my life. And one of the problems, though, I do have, because Tim Ross has taught this in the past, that the way you catch more fish is kind of being your authentic self. Well, one of the problems is Tim Ross has described his authentic self as cussing and wilding out. Maybe I'll try to play that clip here if I remember to put it in.
So I'm laying in the bed, and this morning the Holy Spirit says, Tim, your language is bait for the people that I want you to reach. I was like, you didn't tell me this when I first started. I would have been so much better prepared. Because I love people and I don't like disappointing people. And I'm not a people pleaser, but I love people and I don't like disappointing people. I wish you'd have told me this up front. But again, when the Lord tells you to do stuff that's uncomfortable, you just got to shed the layers of what you believe, how you've done it. Because I would normally, I would never even consider that. But he said, your language is bait for the people I want you to reach. And if there's people that are saying, stop, you're cussing, hell, damn.
Yeah.
Not B, not F, not MF, not a-hole, not. And I'm comfortable with those words. I don't have a reason to say them right now. So, you know what I mean? Good Lord have mercy. I just realized if that's the response, you're not the person I'm trying to catch.
So
this is bait.
Yeah.
This is deep sea fishing. This is not a few minnows in the shallow. We're trying to get to some people that are not listening to my preaching clips. Well, you don't have to stoop that low and start cussing to reach the. No, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm gonna look dead in this camera again. This is the way I've always talked. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I don't want you to think I've always talked like this. I've always talked like this. I'm not gonna mentor everybody. I'm not gonna disciple everybody. But there's certain people, they don't even hear you until you cuss. I can't tell you how many people I've had to cuss at to make them like, oh, snap. Now I hear you. I'm like, good Lord, have mercy. I used all my big words. I have a vast vocabulary. I've spent several years with that dictionary, and you didn't hear me until I said sugar honey iced tea. Well, listen, I'm after a certain type of person. And those people don't even hear me until I talk like them. That's what makes me relatable to them.
But that's how he's described himself. And so, no, winning fish, right? Catching fish has nothing to do with being our authentic self. It actually has to do with proclaiming the gospel and introducing people to Christ, not to our authentic self. Just strange little tidbit there, but let's keep going.
You'll catch more fish because this world now is drawn to real.
Absolutely.
And the next generation, they could spot fake a mile away.
Absolutely.
So how do you teach the next generation to be comfortable in their own skin?
That's what I'm trying to do.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
You doing it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if anything, that's what made me start looking at you. I was like, okay, this brother is comfortable.
So so I want to tell you why your invitation to have me speak at your conference was so significant. Because
now I haven't listened to that that conference session with Tim Ross, I guess at John Hanna's conference, but I've listened to enough John Hanna and conferences of John Hanna to know if John Hanna's inviting you, then I know the sermon's trash. No. Look, I think that's a fair conclusion based on stuff we've seen from him, but let's keep going.
I think I had been doing the pod for about 2 years by that time. And again, I am now the me that I've always been created to be.
Okay.
And once I started to express myself and be comfortable in the way God created me to talk, to dress, to emote, to whatever, teach, preach. All the people that I was endeared to, either publicly or privately, canceled their subscription.
Good.
Well, yeah, because as bad as the group you are already in, Word of Faith Prosperity Gospel preachers preaching nonsense anyway, even they recognize you can't be cussing and talking vulgar about women's parts in interviews. Yeah, that's not a good look, bro. Because guess what? Yeah, when they bring you on, they got to answer for that. So yes, I understand. That's clearly understandable. Now he's done videos. We've done responses to his cussing videos and his justification for that. But again, the Bible is very clear on this issue about our speech being obscene. Hey, don't talk like that. Well, he said, well, you don't got to cuss to be obscene. Yeah, I agree. So don't talk like that either. Right? Oh, it's just so bad.
Right? I don't subscribe to this version of you.
Good.
Like let's stop saying that, oh, I've been canceled, but everybody in the world don't know you to cancel you.
Right.
But people can cancel their subscription to the version of you that you are.
Good.
Right? And so this life update made people cancel their subscription, right? Like, I don't like this new update of you. Great.
Well, I don't think it was a life update. As you said in the past, that's always been how you were. You always were cussing. They may just not have heard it. You just may not have been open about it, but you brought it out in the open. But as you said, you've always been comfortable with cussing and saying cuss words. So it wasn't something new. It was just something that was more open.
Cool. I had called Jesus a stripper by that time.
That was hot.
I had cussed on my podcast by that time.
He was all over the net, bro.
Yeah, that was not hot, man. No. But thus this clip was born.
I got bread in my pocket. Bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket.
So I could thank him for that. What he said was extremely heretical. We're going to play it again just in case you never heard it. Him calling Jesus a stripper. Just wild. Why would you say that, right? That's what we got to ask ourselves. But let's play that.
But scripture said that manna came from heaven. And it was bread to them. We don't make it rain on booty cheeks. We don't make it rain on strippers. We only reverence one stripper. And that's the one that took off glory to put on humanity and then get butt naked on a cross to die for both you and me. The only stripper I'm in love with is Jesus. And he's the one that puts that bread in my pocket. That bread in my pocket. I got 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 bread.
Yeah, and so wild stuff, right? He's just spreading the Jesus is his favorite stripper nonsense, cussing. What makes the whole cussing thing bad too is he's like saying the Holy Spirit told him to do all this. Sir, you got to stop that, sir. You got to.
You got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that.
The Spirit of God doesn't make you say those things. Didn't tell you to say those things. But let's keep listening.
And then I get an invitation to preach at your conference, and because I had been so sensitive for the last 2 years navigating all of the whatever,
Right.
I literally thought to myself when the invitation came in, does he know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get there and then he's like, oh, I found out you know what I mean?
No, you hadn't been hoeing. I need a drink.
Reacting to their nastiness. You nasty.
I put this in here because unfortunately, for many pastors, as long as you're not doing the crazy wild stuff, we'll let a little, Jesus is your favorite, some heresy, right? We'll let, you cussing wilding out from the pool, from your interviews, right? We'll let all that go as long as you're not a bad, I guess, just a bad PR from that standpoint. And so that's essentially what John Hannah expresses there. Oh, well, you was being faithful to your wife, right? And so.
We didn't find no whole receipts, so you was good. So, morally, you was all right.
Morally, he's all right when he's saying the Spirit of God told him to cuss, that Jesus is his favorite stripper, but morally, he's okay. Other than that.
Oh, my God. Yeah. You're still faithful to your wife, raising your sons.
Oh my God.
Just talking out the box.
I was just talking.
It's okay. You reaching people that the regular person in the pulpit could never reach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At the boat.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. I got there and you were the opening session, and literally halfway through your session, I turned to a complete stranger. I don't even know this because I had never been with y'all, so I didn't know nobody.
Right.
I just turned to a complete stranger, looked him dead in the eye, and I was like, "This is me in a different universe. That nigga is me."
That's cool.
We'll address that in a second. Wanting to be John Hannah is crazy work, right?
How dare you?
That is crazy. And yes, Tim Ross loves the N-word. He's going to really go off in a second. We're going to play it. Look, I just got to show you how crazy this dude is. But he loves the N-word. I hate the N-word. I find it reprehensible. Because guess what? Everybody who said it, if a white person said it, going to go crazy and want to fight him. But then you up there saying it all the time, right? Well, black people could say it. No, get rid of it, right?
Crazy,
in a completely different universe. And I was just in shock. I was in shock. And
being impressed by John Hannah's preaching is this another wow. It just kind of shows you how bad you are as a preacher, as theologically, because John Hannah is one of the worst pastors I've ever heard.
I am better since meeting you.
Good. I am your future. Scary, right?
Yes.
And you turning 50, and I'll be 62 this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So your ladder
I got a 12-year.
Yeah.
I got a little 12-year buffer of I'm on that trajectory.
Yeah, your ladder is greater.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have to. That's not the first. That's the first time being with you in Chicago at your conference, but we met in Florida at William McDowell's church, and when we were there, you said some things that I literally turned to Juliet and said, "This is exactly this is where we are right now." You guys start talking about all my houses are paid off, and this is
I mean, that's every sermon of John Hannah's. Every sermon of John Hannah's is exactly that, prophesying you're going to be rich, your house going to be paid off, et cetera, et cetera. He goes on to say, well, hey, I have my house paid off. I mean, it's confirmation bias because, I mean, he says that every message, right? And so let's go to the next clip here.
So then we hired an artist by the name of Abiola that did these 7 sculptures.
Yep.
That you came.
Yes, sir.
The tallest one is 9 feet tall. Nothing like it on the south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
But why not? If we are the light of the world,
Absolutely.
how come he can't do it through us?
Right.
So being the light of the world has to do with these painting sculptures you have in your church. Now, you're going to see why the reason why he wants these painting sculptures. Look, it's perfectly fine to have painting sculptures in your church. That's not my issue. My issue is the reasoning. It's you have something to do with the light of the world. And watch this too.
I asked God that.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of white churches and I said to God, you cannot tell me you prejudice.
Just in case you couldn't hear it, he asked God, you can't tell me you're prejudiced. So he looks in these white churches. He sees these nice things, right? He sees these painting sculptures. God, you're not prejudiced, are you? Don't you love us black folk? Don't you love us N-words? He probably said that. Who knows, right?
You cannot tell me that certain people are the only ones that can have something quality. You told me I'm not. If you let me know I can trust you, I'll give it all to you.
So he says, if you let me know I can trust you, I'll give it all to you. Apparently God's trusting man. I mean, a strange conundrum biblically, right? But again, you can be a faithful steward, not have any sculptures. I mean, you can have 5 rusty, dusty seats in your church and be a faithful preacher. It has nothing to do with the exterior. Okay, look, I'm not even saying don't have the exterior. You want to have the nice carpet, the nice chairs, fine. But you don't, wouldn't be prejudiced if he didn't give you to those. I mean, this is just strange.
He's not done.
He's not
I
done.
tell you, he's not done.
More paintings.
I'm waiting.
Just a strange segment. But listen to this. Okay, look, now he's about to go on his barrage of using the N-word just a little bit more than he has in this interview. So just beware.
Go ahead. My older brother founded a gang.
Jesus. Where's my wallet?
Yeah. You still have it. We didn't pat your pockets when you came in. But there's already a hood nigga in me,
Right.
that I have to keep crucified to the cross, right? I was a battle rapper when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I started doing stand-up in my early 20s. So I already have thick skin. But once I focused on ministry, the skin softened because there was nobody to...
Right.
Everybody saying yay and amen. Because I'm saying, ain't he all right? And they saying he is all right.
Oh, but when you
I'm
come
saying,
out,
ain't God good? And they saying he is God good. Then I sit down and start this podcast. And then it is comments and reaction videos and people looking in cameras talking about if I was in front of him, I would have slapped him in the face. And then
Now, I don't know who was saying that. So, and if they were, they need to be rebuked too, right? And so 2 wrongs don't make a right. Now, I have a problem with your sermons. I've listened to a few and the sermons are bad. Not just the podcast. I mean, the podcast, that's you, right? I mean, unregenerate you, but the theology comes out in the sermons. And that is where I have a big issue. Yes, Jesus being your favorite stripper, nonsense. Nonsense. I've spoken on that previously before, why that's not theologically correct. Again, some kind of kenosis theory. Again, not trying to rehash that again. But every time I listen to Tim Ross, he's like making some threats. Y'all remember when he was on the he had Mike Todd on his podcast and he was like making these threats. Bro is like 5'4", 140. Talk about all these people. He's like, say it to my face. Like, I'm just saying, you don't need to match that energy.
action videos and people looking in cameras talking about if I was in front of him, I would have slapped him in the face. And then hood nigga is like, where you at?
right. And then you learn you're not worth my energy.
Because
Because it only gets you off focus on what you're supposed to be
for
doing.
sure. But I'm that type.
I mean, I'll say this. I have no problem saying the things to Tim Ross, obviously in a non-threatening manner, right? That I've said on this podcast. I mean, it's not fighting words. Someone disagrees with you theologically. Hopefully not. Hopefully you're mature enough to hear some critiques of yourself and not say, well, say it to my face. It's like, it's kind of childish and ratchet.
But dude, that if you say something, you have to say it to my face.
Right.
Not for reprisal.
I mean, that's what it sounds like though. Like you want to fight somebody. I mean, that's what it sounded like here. That's what it sounded like. And when, you did the Mike Todd video, interview, I mean, it's always like these threats he's making to people who disagree with him.
Of a threat, but it's like man to man, we would come to you. There were drive-bys, but then you had there was a certain few niggas from the hood that there wasn't gonna be a drive-by because somebody else could get shot.
So he's like, if you have a problem, you have to come to him personally. Well, the same thing could be said to you. You got a problem with all the people they making the videos. Why don't you drive to them? You see, that's kind of silly. Like somebody's got to get in their car, go drive to Dallas. Let's say they're in Michigan. They made a video. They got to come drive to you before it to be real. Like, I mean, logically, it don't even make any sense. And it's a waste of gas mileage. Because, I mean, if someone's going to stand on business, they're going to say the same thing to you than they did in that video. It don't really matter. I mean, make your response video back. If you don't like what they said, respond back, right?
Coming to you, right? You know what I mean? I won't waste a bullet on somebody else. I'm coming to your neck. So obviously I navigated that great.
And I said, it still sounds like he handles things like a game. Unfortunately, many people take worldly analogies as if like that's what the Bible's teaching. Okay, look. If someone has an opportunity, I would hope someone in my local church would come to me face to face. Even then, I wouldn't respond like that. But if someone I don't know, they make a video about me, cool, they can make their video. If I disagree, I can either contact them by email or I respond back. Those are my options, or ignore it, right? But I'm not gonna do this whole, hey, man, you wouldn't say it to my face, huh? Like the gangs, I ain't wasting a bullet. Because it might hit some, I might miss. It's like, come on, bro. It's not even like a Christian attitude towards these things. Well, I wanted to give my thoughts about Hannah Banana, John Honey Bun Hannah's, right? And old Tim Bread in My Pocket Ross. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Till the next time, grace and peace. Oh, grace and peace. Thank you for watching another episode of All Things Theology. If you enjoyed what you heard today, go on and give me a like. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I promise to give you weekly lives, videos, interactions, exposing false teachers, sharing with you, the viewer, my theological beliefs, things about the culture, and the Bible. So if you're here for that, come on and join us. Also, if you would like to support this channel financially, you can do so by becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Links are in the description below. You can see content before it drops. You can also have Q&A sessions with also other Patreon members, YouTube members as well. So if you would like that, hit the description link in below.